Afternoon, peeps. Good afternoon, everyone. Long time no see. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vids. All right, this video might be a long one because, as I said, long time no see. We haven't done a video in about a week, so there should be plenty to talk about. Obviously, this video will be dominated by the dominating performance of Joyce yesterday against Joseph Parker, but there's still a lot of other stuff to catch up on as well. I was at Nottingham yesterday for the Maxi Hughes Kid Galahad fight. It was supposed to be Lee Wood, Mauricio Lara, which I think would have been a war. Obviously, Lee Wood injured his bicep, so the main event was Maxi Hughes Kid Galahad. And it's funny because I'm ringside and I'm getting texts about the Joyce Joseph Parker fight. And I can't lie to you, there was a small part of me that was tempted to watch it, but I was like, I'm not going to be the guy that gets caught because there were a load of cameras there. I'm not going to be the guy ringside at the Zone show that's going to get caught watching a BT Sports production. It ain't going to be me. So, yeah, gutted that I wasn't able to watch it live. Obviously, I knew the result. I knew what was going on. People were texting me, and I watched it this morning, and it was a war. It really was a war. Very quickly, let's touch on the card that I was at. Maxi Hughes, Kid Galahad. Close fight, very, very close fight. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I think Tony Bellew had it a draw, but in the end, Maxi Hughes won it by a majority decision. Fair, I thought. I just edged it. I never really score those fights. I'm just going to, in my head, thinking, okay, I gave you a round. So I didn't really have a running score total in my head, but I thought Maxi Hughes did enough to win it. I thought Kid Galahad looked gun shy. He got in there, he got right in the positions to fight, and then he just didn't throw his hands. And it's a shame he walked out of the ring immediately, because I was going to ask him, is there something wrong with your right hand? Because he just didn't throw it. He didn't really throw it, and that was a shame. I'm not quite sure what you do next with Kid Galahad. Obviously, he's coming off a knockout loss to Kiko Martinez. He's moved up 2 weight classes, and now he's lost to Maxi Hughes. And some might say, yeah, you know, it's no problem losing. Well, it is really if you're Kid losing to Maxi Hughes. Kid was talking a lot of smack before the fight, almost insinuating it would be easy work. So for him to lose to Maxi Hughes isn't a good look. He's an awkward fighter. He doesn't sell many tickets. I think he's 32 now. Big decisions, big decisions. Co-main event, Terry Harper, Hannah Rankin. Terry Harper beat Hannah Rankin to claim the WBA and IBO super welterweight titles. It has to be a rematch with Tasha Jonas. Now that makes sense, right? They had a fight 2 years ago, 130 pounds. They both got titles now, 154 pounds. Either do it on DAZN or Sky. Let them just get it on. I thought Tasha Jonas won their first fight. I thought it was a controversial draw. So, yeah, I think it's a good fight now, 154 pounds. A couple of other fights on the card. Solomon Dakers, he'll be upset with his performance. Siobhan Clark looked good. And Cyrus Pattinson, he looked really good, really strong. A good addition to the welterweight division. All right, enough of that. Let's talk about what happened in Manchester. Joyce stopping Joseph Parker by 11 in the 11th round. It's a shame that I didn't do a preview video, because I'm going to be honest, what I thought would happen didn't happen. I thought, and maybe I was going against the grain here a little bit, but I thought Joseph Parker could sort of get a big lead. I thought Joseph Parker might win the first few rounds and then just hang on. That's kind of how I predicted the fight would play out. I thought he'd get a lead just because he's the faster of the two. He might start fast. We know that Joyce likes to, Joyce is almost, he's a slow starter, allegedly. And then he kind of just grinds you down. And I thought maybe Joseph Parker would win, I'm not joking, maybe 5 out the first 6 rounds and then just hang on and maybe nick a late round to a points decision. But in the end, Joyce started fast as well. After the first 6 rounds, I had it 3 apiece. But even then, it was, I say 3 apiece. I mean, Joyce is comfortable with those 3 rounds. Joseph Parker's had to work and work for those 3 rounds. I mean, after the first 2 rounds, he is blowing out of his arse because Joyce is just relentless. And, obviously I knew the result, but just watching it back, I'm thinking, this is just inevitable. It reminds me a bit of watching Joyce against Carlos Takam, where Carlos is landing big shots, but you're thinking, Carlos is winning the battle, but Joe Joyce is going to win the war. And that's kind of what it felt like watching that fight yesterday. That, you know, like Joseph Parker's having these spots, he's landing some big shots, but he's having to put so much into winning those rounds that you can't sustain that. You can't, especially a Joseph Parker that's a lot heavier than we're used to seeing him. You just can't sustain that. Nothing prepares you for that. Nothing. You're not going to do that in sparring, are you? You're not going to go to the trenches like that in sparring, and nothing will prepare you for that. Nothing. There's nothing you can do. Joe Joyce is a big problem. Big problem. Because I'm a big fan of Joseph Parker. Obviously, I speak to Andy Lee a bit. He's been in the same camp as Tyson Fury. I spoke to Joseph Parker last week. He was in good spirits, very, very comfortable. And obviously, look, it's his third fight camp with Andy Lee, and you're thinking, okay, we're starting to see a very good Joseph Parker. Maybe, in fact, definitely the best Joseph Parker we've ever seen. Definitely. I remember I presented that fight he did with Chisora, and he was fast. And look, some people might say Chisora's coming to the end, and you are correct. But he still, nonetheless, he put a beating on Chisora. So I was thinking this is going to be war. And it was war. But in the end, Joe Joyce is just too much. He's too big. He's too strong. His jab is like people's right hands. He has an engine that doesn't make sense. And he has a chin that does not make sense at all. He is a nightmare. I read somewhere that he threw something like 800 plus punches. What are we doing? That's fucking lightweight territory. Like, what is a heavyweight doing throwing that many punches? So he's going to outwork you. 9 times out of 10, he's bigger than you. He can take your punch, and he's got a gas tank like a fucking Kenyan marathon runner. So, fuck Kenyan, Ethiopian marathon runner. He's got everything. What are you supposed to do with that? What are you supposed to do? I don't know. I have no idea what you're supposed to do. Because, I mean, 9 times out of 10, the only way to beat someone like that is if you dent them early, so it deters them from coming in. Joseph Parker landed some of the cleanest right hands known to God. Joseph Parker is 19 stone or 18 stone plus. He landed a right hand that would take a house down. Joe Joyce ate it. Joe Joyce did not even stumble backwards. So picture that. You've landed your cleanest motherfucking right hand, clean on the button, and the guy in front of you doesn't budge. I'm sorry. That's when, even though Joseph Parker continued, and credit to him, because you see Andy Lee was going to throw the towel in, that's when you think, I'm fucked. It must be like it must be that must be going through your head. And look, ultimately, as an elite level boxer, and Joseph Parker is, that you're thinking, all right, you know what? We still got to dig in here because there's still an opportunity. And you know, he's going to get tired. He has to get tired. He can't keep throwing those amount of punches. He doesn't get tired. His punch output goes up. And then not only is he absorbing your punches, he's starting to land his. It's fucking demoralizing. It's demoralizing. Honestly, I've never seen Joseph Parker's face like that. Never. And I'm a big Joseph Parker fan. He's, I've sat with him. We've had conversations just outside of boxing. Great guy. Honestly, great guy. And it's again, I knew the result, but I was watching it a bit like that, like stop the fight, even though I know how the fight played out. Joe Joyce he's a bad man. Honestly, he's a bad man, and he could beat any heavyweight, any Fury, Usyk, AJ. He could beat any of them, because I don't think they're stopping him, and I don't know if they can have the gas tank to outbox him for 12 rounds. He's going to get you. He is going to get to you, and you've either got to outbox him or stop him. Usyk is definitely capable of outboxing him, but does Usyk even have the gas tank to outbox him and move and somehow hurt him a little bit for 12 rounds? I don't know. Could Fury? Honestly, these are questions I don't know. Immediately after the fight, I was speaking to Barry Jones and Mike Costello, and I was like, can he beat AJ? Like, you're not going to get a bigger AJ fan than me. And I was like, can he beat AJ? Like, AJ's got to knock him out. He's got to knock him out. That's the only way. Fuck, man, that is a bad man. He must be like the way boxers in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s were thinking about when they saw George Foreman. Like I was just trying to think who reminds, it's like that in it, where you're thinking his feet are slow, but he's just gonna walk you down and bust you up. It is George Foreman, isn't it? I don't know if George Foreman had the same chin. I mean, I don't know about that, but fuck, he's a dangerous man. I'd love to go and watch him train. I need to. I don't get it. Honestly, I do not get where this gas tank comes from, and where this output and chin. He needs to be like put into some sort of lab so they can test him for every. Like, how does he do this? Like, how? It's insane, people. It's insane because Joseph Parker's no slouch. Joseph Parker's top 10 heavyweight, and he brutalized him. Again, after 6 rounds, I had it even, but Joyce is going back to the corner, steady breathing, heart rate's, moving, it's pumping, but nothing concerning. Joseph Parker's going back to the corner, and he is slouching. His face is all bust up, and that was after 6. And I was thinking, Jesus Christ, man, dangerous man. Honestly, dangerous man. As I said, he can beat any heavyweight on the planet. There's this talk, and it's funny. Joe Joyce, Deontay Wilder, right? Because Deontay Wilder supposedly has the forehammer. Joe Joyce has the chin. Joe Joyce will break him. Would break him, because I'm not even convinced that Wilder's punch stops him. I'm sorry. Again, understand what I'm saying. I know Joseph Parker is not considered the biggest puncher, but Joseph Parker can whack, and he didn't stumble. You understanding this? Didn't stumble. I want to say didn't stumble. He took a step back, but it was never wobbled. Wow. And when that 19.5 stone frame hits Wilder, good luck. He's a nightmare. Obviously, he is now WBO interim champion. So if Usyk does vacate, we don't know. No one knows what's going on with this Usyk shit. If Usyk does vacate, he'll be elevated to full champion. But I don't know. If Fury fights AJ, and we're going to get to that as well on this episode. If Fury fights AJ, then Usyk wants to fight. Usyk said he'll be back in February. I mean, there's a lot of talk now about Usyk versus Wilder, but Usyk really should fight Joe Joyce. The only problem is the money on the table for Wilder is so much bigger. Obviously, Wilder's got to get past Salinas, but there's so much more money, I guess, on the table. But, in seeing yesterday, obviously, I was trying to work out if there was any sort of blacked out areas. It looked pretty close to being a sellout. Was it? If anyone that was there, let me know. It would have done decent numbers on pay-per-view, not crazy numbers. What I'm trying to get at is that Joe Joyce now is a star in his own right? He's maybe a big draw all of a sudden. I think people are starting to understand him. There was this thing about him before. People said he's a bit dumb. He's certainly not that. He's certainly not that. Doesn't he have like a degree in fine arts or something? He's a fucking intelligent kid. And he's a great boxer. His jab yesterday was fantastic. Like, we always talk about his chin. What about his jab? Now that's a dangerous heavyweight. He is a dangerous heavyweight. He really is. Honestly, yeah, man. I don't know what next for him. I'm not quite sure. I don't know who would want to fight that, if I'm honest with you, because it's not going to be an easy night's work. But credit to Joseph Parker. He'll heal up. He'll come back again. A long rest. And then we'll see what happens with him. There was supposed to be a rematch clause. There is a rematch clause, and if the fight was close, it was going to be on Sky. Obviously, that ain't going to happen now. And I do wonder, Ben Shalom obviously allowed this to happen. I do wonder if he's slightly regretting it, because obviously he signed up to Joseph Parker, and now Joseph Parker's stock's obviously fallen a little bit, a very little bit, by the way. He'll still have big fights, but the rematch would have been massive on Sky. Obviously, that isn't happening now. Should we quickly talk about this Fury AJ thing? Look, being around Matchroom for the last sort of day, 2 days, it felt like it's not going to happen. It felt like until AJ released that video saying his lawyers are looking at that he's going to sign. And now I have hope again. I have hope that it could happen. I do feel like there's a battle going on behind the scenes in Team AJ. Could be wrong. Just my own thoughts of people wanting it to happen, people not wanting it to happen. We know that Robert Garcia doesn't really want it to happen. I wonder if he's been joined by Angel Fernandez as well. I wonder if others are saying no, maybe. But again, a lot of money on the table. And fingers crossed for boxing right now, it happens. Boxing is in such a good place, you know. Honestly, it's in such a good place. When you think of what we've got coming, the schedule that we've got coming up, like obviously because of what was delayed 2 weeks ago, we've got Clarissa Shields, Savannah Marshall still to come. We've got fucking Eubank Ben to come. We've got Bivol Ramirez to come. Fingers crossed, we've got AJ Fury, Wilder's return against Helenius. I mean, what? The only fight that we've not got that we could really complain about is Crawford Spence. And it's funny because when I was in Vegas, there was a lot of talk about it being done for November 19th. I was going to do a video on it being done for November 19th, and it hasn't happened. So, look, boxing's given us a lot. Lomachenko returns soon. Wow, honestly, wow. Yesterday, me watching it today, really, really good fight. Probably one of the best cards Frank Warren has put on in years. When you think of the depth of that card, it was a really, really good card. Like, I actually don't think enough was made of Amanda Serrano being on this card. I really don't think. I don't think they've done a good enough job of Amanda Serrano's on the card. You know what I mean? One of the greatest female fighters of all time is on the card. You know, I think more should have been done. Katche, I think he deserved a bit more push as well. Obviously, loads on that card. So yeah, I can't wait to watch the whole card in full. I haven't done it. We will do it. Trust me. Shakur Stevenson beat Conseil Sal by unanimous decision. Obviously, he's now moved up to 135 pounds. Those belts are vacant. If I'm Joe Cordina, I'm happy and excited. Deep down, I'm excited because I can be undisputed potentially at 130 pounds. And I'm also, you probably won't admit this, I'm also a bit happy because, without being disrespectful, Joe Cordina is a great boxer, but Shakur Stevenson, you don't want that smoke. You don't want that smoke. So look, Shakur goes up to 135. I would say I'm excited about him going up, but the guys ain't fighting each other at 135, so I'm not that excited. But we'll see. Shakur Stevenson's called out Devin Haney. Devin Haney's fighting Kambosos. When's that? October 16th, 15th, 14th? I don't know when it is, but it's coming up, right? Again, another one coming up. So much to go up, baseball. Look, Floyd. Let's not forget Floyd won an exhibition fight as well. Floyd's just laughing, innit? He's just laughing, just getting paid millions for these things. See, his bodyguard got beaten up, got knocked out. Anyway, guys, that's it. Quick one. I don't think there's ever been a time, historians will probably say otherwise, but we've had so many Brits in the top 10 or even the top 5 heavyweights, like top 5. Fury's number 1, Usyk's number 2. Is AJ free, right? Is Joe Joyce on that win jumped over Wilder? But regardless, Joe Joyce, Fury and AJ are all in the top 6. That's insane. That's insane. Maybe top 5. All right, anyway, guys, girls, peace and love.